reports about March 27, 1977. It was supposed to be a normal day of travel, but it turned into the deadliest disaster in aviation history, the Tenerife airport disaster. A bomb explosion at Gran Canaria Airport forced many incoming flights to divert to a much smaller airport on the island of Tenerife. The airport was never designed to handle this much traffic. Planes were parked everywhere, even blocking taxiways. Among these aircraft were two Boeing 747 jumbo jets, KLM Flight 4805 and Pan Am Flight 1736. As hours passed, weather conditions began to worsen. A thick layer of fog slowly covered the airport, reducing visibility to just a few meters. Pilots could no longer see the runway, taxiways, or even other aircraft. Everything now depended on radio communication. Because the taxiways were blocked by parked aircraft, planes had to use the main runway itself to taxi. The Pan Am aircraft was instructed to taxi down the runway and exit at a specific point. However, due to poor visibility and unclear markings, the crew missed the correct exit and continued moving further down the runway. Meanwhile, the KLM aircraft had reached the end of the same runway, turned around, and was preparing for takeoff. Inside the KLM cockpit, there was growing pressure. The captain was concerned about delays and duty time limits. He decided to begin the takeoff process as soon as possible. Then came the most critical moment. The KLM crew received a radio message that sounded like takeoff clearance, but in reality, it was not a clear authorization. At the same time, the Pan Am crew transmitted that they were still on the runway, but this message was partially blocked due to radio interference. In the dense fog, neither aircraft could see each other. The KLM captain pushed the throttles forward. The massive aircraft began accelerating rapidly down the runway. Inside the cockpit, the flight engineer questioned whether the runway was clear, but the captain, convinced of the clearance, continued the takeoff. The Pan Am crew, still taxiing, suddenly saw landing lights emerging through the fog, a terrifying sight. They immediately tried to turn off the runway, but there was no time. The KLM aircraft attempted an early liftoff, pulling up sharply to avoid collision, but it was too late. The KLM aircraft was destroyed instantly, with no survivors. On the Pan Am plane, a small number of passengers managed to escape before the fire spread, but most were trapped. In total, 583 people lost their lives. This disaster shocked the entire world and changed aviation forever. After this incident, strict communication protocols were introduced. Standard phraseology became mandatory, and the concept of crew resource management was developed, ensuring that all crew members can question and challenge decisions in the cockpit. The Tenerife disaster was not caused by a single mistake, but by a chain of small errors, miscommunication, and poor visibility, proving how critical clarity and coordination are in aviation.